long time ago, longer than I want to disclose at the moment, I started the Have You Ever Heard Of series to talk about and poke fun at lesser-known movies that I encountered as a kid. Early on, one of those movies I talked about was Asterix and Cleopatra, a French cartoon from 1968 that I recall being a random rental that we copied onto a VHS. And despite saying what I had to say about it, it still stuck with me after all these years. Hell, I even got a copy of it on DVD. Asterix and Cleopatra, of course, wasn't the only movie made about the intrepid Gauls, and to my surprise, even has a new 3D animated movie that came out on Netflix, for what it's worth. I think it's high time we retread the maniacal roots of this series and take a deeper dive into the beloved Asterix franchise as a whole. Have you ever heard of Asterix the Gaul? Asterix is a French comic strip that was first published in 1959 by René Goscinny and Albert Uderzo. Goscinny having spent time in New York making a meager living working for Mad Magazine, and Uderzo remaining in France and making a name for himself by inventing French cartoon heroes such as Beloy, Clopeneur, and Prince Rollin. By 1951, Goscinny returned to France to join Uderzo in working for the World Press and International Press. The two became instant friends and worked together on creating even more French cartoons, until, 8 years later, they decided to create their own magazine called The Pilote, a collection of popular French and Belgian comics of that era. For this, they wanted something special as their own contribution to the comics, and set their sights initially on the Roman de Renat, a series of animal stories composed throughout the Middle Ages. One happens to be about a rooster named Chanticleer, by the way. But when they discovered that the idea was already in the works by another artist, they instead looked to the ancient peoples of Gaul. The Asterix comic strip, of course, became a success, and, as these things happen, became so big that animated cartoons were made, as well as live-action adaptations, making the series the French equivalent of Disney, even seeing a lot of success internationally and finding its way into the headspace of some dumb American kid 30 years later. But it all started with the 1967 animated movie simply titled Asterix the Gaul. Now, history would suggest that during the 1st century, Caesar moved his army into a region known as Gaul. Most speculate it was simply as a means to flex the power of Rome, so why not? But in the story of Asterix, one Gallic village was putting up more of a fight than Caesar had bargained for.
It is an historical fact that Caesar had a lot of Gaul, but he did not have it all.
This is all thanks to a druid named Getafix.
Panoramics! Druid!
Oh, my bad. Panoramics. In every other movie, he's called Getafix, but in this one, it's Panoramics. Don't ask me, I'm just here to watch a movie. See, he makes a magic potion that gives the Gauls superhuman powers, much like sailors that eats their spinach. Except for Obelix, because, as they explain,
You fell into the pot when you were just a baby, and the effects of the potion on you are permanent. You know that?
yeah, all the male Gaul names end with Ix, if you didn't notice. I guess you could say they all end with a suffix. Oh man, if there is a Gaul named Suffix, that'd be pretty hilarious. They do play around with it, like Unhygienix, the fishmonger, but some of them go a little too far, like the village chief, Vital Statistics. That doesn't make any sense. Like, is it a pun? I mean, if it is, I don't get it. Damn French and their weird sense of humor. The inspiration for the naming scheme probably came from the famed Gallic chief, Vercingetorix. Yeah, more like badass mustachioix. The basic premise for the comics revolves around Caesar's attempts to take out the Gauls, often leading to wacky hijinks where the Romans fail miserably and everyone has a laugh. And so on and so forth into perpetuity. Like Elmer Fudd's eternal crusade for Bugs Bunny's rabbit haunches, Tom and his Jerry, Sylvester and Tweety, you get the idea. That is the main conflict of the comics, overall. So essentially, I pretty much also explained to you the plot of the movie. The Gauls are doing their Gaul thing, and the Romans plot and scheme to defeat them, this time led by Faunus Bolanus. Oh yeah, the Romans also have their quirky naming schemes. Faunus Bolanus, Caligula Minus, Marcus Sourpuss, and of course, Biggest Dickus. The big idea is to send a spy to the Gaul village and learn their secrets, and they determine the sucker they're going to send by playing musical chairs.
This game, which has come down to us through the ages, was played with one chair less than there were legionnaires.
Okay, that's funny and weird, but it's not funny and weird in a what the hell am I watching kind of way. This is a French cartoon made in the 60s. Why does the humor make so much sense? Well, the plan works, and the fake Gaul, just a little pricks, finds out about the magic potion, and during a dance party, gets found out himself. A dance number. Now we're talking. There's no way this won't be ridiculous.
Step to the right. And step to the left.
This makes no sense. This is the prequel to Asterix and Cleopatra, one of the strangest and most off-the-wall movies I have ever seen. How is this so tame? I still get acid flashbacks of Asterix and Obelix doing the can-can with sentient hunks of meat and cheese. The faux Gaul escapes and reports back to Bolanus about their secret, but they don't know how to replicate it, so they capture Panoramix. Asterix runs off to rescue him, and honestly, the rest of the movie is Asterix and Panoramix just fucking with the Romans. At one point, they trick them into drinking a potion that make them grow beards at a fast rate, and every other line is a bad hair pun.
Promise not to split hairs about it.
Don't you mention hairs again, you hear?
That's for the beards.
No, wait, please.
All right, but don't get in my hair again.
It's probably best to just comb over the rest of the plot. God damn it. Asterix the Gaul is nothing like its sequel. The oddball humor and brain-rotting madness is nowhere to be found, and I honestly find that kind of disappointing. I mean, sure, it still has its janky moments of animation and hilarious voice acting.
Don't let him get out. He's an unconquerable Gaul. I'll go get us some help. Sure, go on.
A group of legionnaires were taking him to Hum Sweet Hum.
What?
Hit him.
Well, hit him, you fool.
An ingredient that's important.
What?
Why was this movie so normal when its sequel was such a fever dream? Well, apparently there's a really interesting explanation for that. As the story goes, the film was produced by a Georges Zargod, or something, I don't know. He's the comic series publisher, but Goscinny and Uderzo weren't involved at all. It wasn't until Dargod invited them to see what he'd been working on at Belvision Studios that they became aware of it, and they allegedly weren't too happy. I mean, I don't blame them. It's pretty boring by Asterix standards in retrospect. They allowed the film to be released, but demanded they be involved in the next one, actively canceling Dargod's planned sequel, Asterix and the Golden Sickle. So Asterix and Cleopatra was made, this time under the supervision of Goscinny and Uderzo, which is why Asterix the Gaul ends with this weird promo for it, with Cleopatra looking like something. This is actually something I brought up in my old and cringy as hell video of Asterix and Cleopatra.
She's bad-tempered, but what a pretty nose. Yes, very pretty.
Nice, but her nose is easily put out of joint. It's a pretty nose, too.
Okay, what is that all about? What's so special about Cleopatra's nose? Now the nose comments seem even more of a mystery because they clearly decided to have it changed between cartoon and comic. What the hell is up with Cleopatra's nose?
Not to mention her nose, my dear fellow. What a nose!
Cleo, your nose is so sweet, so is a nice joint of meat.
Well, I finally decided to stop being a slacker and actually did some investigation into this whole nose business. Something that's been bugging me for years, if you can believe it. Turns out the whole nose bit is in reference to something said by French philosopher Blaise Pascal, who said something along the lines of, if Cleopatra's nose had been shorter, the entire face of the world would have changed. Which I guess some interpret as implying if Cleopatra had been slightly less attractive, history would have been different. So there you go. That's the crux of the whole Cleopatra having a pretty nose running joke. Hilarious, right? Something I also have to point out is that the official Asterix website mentions how the film has become an institution for viewing around Christmas time. The songs by French composer Gerard Calvi are an absolute must. Beer for Asterix, iced arsenic cake, and Cleopatra's bath. Christmas. Asterix and Cleopatra. A classic to watch around Christmas. You French are fucking crazy. I mean, we're over here debating whether or not a movie about an ex-cop who murders terrorists on a high-rise should even qualify as a Christmas movie. But no, you guys see a movie about a couple of Gauls traveling to Egypt and think, oh yeah, it's got the Christmas spirit all fucking over it. But I already talked about that movie enough. Afterwards, they would make yet another sequel, this time called The 12 Tasks of Asterix. Now we're talking. Yeah, Asterix and Obelix going on some epic quests where they have to rely on their brawn and brains, but mostly brawn, to complete various wacky tasks. Huh. But is it as bonkers as Asterix and Cleopatra? Let's find out. Well, right off the bat, the movie not only breaks the fourth wall, but uses the remaining rubble to build a memorial to whatever immersion there was left.
Hands up, anyone in the house who hasn't met them yet. Oh, I see.
But don't get me wrong, it's pretty hilarious.
Asterix, whose adventures, on sale in all the best bookshops, have been translated into every language.
Salute! Guten Tag! Hello! Hi! Konnichiwa!
The animation also seems to be a lot more detailed, but it also has this chalky outline to it, which is kind of strange. I've never seen anything like it before. This time around, the Romans begin wondering if the undefeatable Gauls are some kind of demigods, which gives Caesar the idea to test them of their godhood, a la Hercules. Also, Caesar sounds like Skeletor.
Caesar, I will show you, you cowardly old counselors, that those half-wits are only mortal!
Why do I surround myself with fools? Even the robots are smarter than you!
Very mortal! Brutus, stop playing about with that knife. You'll end up hurting somebody.
Yeah, Brutus. Save it for the movie Asterix helps overthrow the Roman Empire. Yeah, they went weird places in the sequels. So Caesar approaches the Gauls with his wackadoo plan to offer all of Rome to them if they succeed in a new set of tasks, since Nemean lions and hydras are so 1997. Leisure Suit Larry here acting as an impartial judge to document their success. Of course, Asterix and Obelix are chosen for the task. Getafix sits this movie out for the most part. And they get a lovely send-off song from, Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, see what I did there? First, one of the two must race the world's fastest man, named Asbestos. Because asbestos is fast? Yeah, should have called him Ejaculatus Prematurus. Of course, Asterix wins, thanks to the help of the magic potion. Next is a spear-throwing competition that Obelix wins handedly at. This time without the help of a potion because, as the movie once again explains...
You know you fell into the cauldron when you were a baby.
Fell into the cauldron when you were a baby.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. These two are great at everything, right? It's just going to be the same joke over and over of some cocky challenger being showed up by these two chuckleheads. One challenges to eat an obscene amount of food. Of course, Obelix breezes through that. This task involves surviving a hypnotist, which Asterix is apparently completely immune to, why not? Oh great, and another test of strength. This time they have to wrestle with this German guy trained in some sort of martial art.
Good day! Which of you two gentlemen is first? Or both of you at once, maybe, yeah?
Sure. Wait. Who the hell's this guy? The entire Roman army can't bring these two down, and suddenly this guy can take them both out without breaking a sweat? Is this some sort of shonen anime thing? Like they're gonna introduce a new character with a higher power level each season? Yeah, well, if that's the case, they at least have the courtesy of wrapping up what would be a 30-episode arc in a matter of minutes. Because this task is meant to be resolved with smarts, not pure strength.
Easy, easy. You just say that because you're strong. Nine. Word of honor. Try yourself. Here, take my hand. Like this. Ja, sehr gut. Ganz gut. You get the idea. Harder, faster. Ja, perfect.
It's pretty clever. I mean, never mind the fact that they technically already failed, but I like that they play around with the over-reliance on the magic potion and the characters being godlike by having them solve some of their problems without it boiling down to them being infallible. This even goes into Asterix's design. He isn't some big and beefy warrior type, which was Uderzo's signature look, but instead they opted for a short and scrawny look to portray a more clever and cunning character. But if Asterix is so capable of solving problems with his brain, how well can he handle a challenge that involves another major organ? That's right, his penis.
The next task, they will have to face the priestesses of the Isle of Pleasure.
Turns out women are one of Asterix's few weaknesses. How relatable, especially when they drop such funky beats. Now this is the weird and off-the-wall musical non sequitur I was looking for. Ha! Though, honestly, still not anything that tops Asterix and Cleopatra. For one thing, there's no singing involved. But just check out how 70s it all is. It's groovy, man. But the disappointing thing is, this is the one and only song in this movie. Cleopatra had like 3. It was basically a musical, how people just randomly burst into song. Like, why don't they do that anymore? Why just this one song? Obelix this time is the one to inadvertently save the day. Because, as we know, if there's one thing Obelix loves more than porking, it's pork.
But there aren't any wild boars on this island.
What? There aren't any boars, and you expect me to stay with you for good? You must be off your head.
Get lost, fatty. Do you really think I'd lower myself to do your cooking?
Why not the washing up too? The housework! Clean your shoes!
Push off. Get out.
You bet your life I'll get out. Not one wild boar, and they dare to call this the Isle of Pleasure.
Speaking of trippy imagery, there's this journey into the Cave of the Beast. I guess it's meant to be some sort of test of bravery, which ends with Obelix eating the beast.
But the beast, what was it like, actually?
Very tasty. Waiter, I'd like a drink.
But I do like the crazy visuals and creative use of the medium. Huh. I wonder if I'd stumbled onto this movie instead as a kid, if it would have freaked me out. I mean, pink elephants on parade from Dumbo scared me, so yeah, probably. There is one task that appears to be too much for our Gaul friends, however, known only as the place that sends you mad.
They've all been to the place that sends you mad.
The place that sends you mad?
Yes.
All they have to do is acquire a permit. The only problem is, all who enter end up coming out mad. Hence the name.
We're looking for window 2.
Window 2. Where exactly did they put that one?
Last time anyone saw it, it was somewhere on the 3rd floor, corridor B, door 6, Mr. Prefect, sir.
Excuse me, miss!
By Jupiter, how rude people are these days. What do you want?
Permit A38.
Have you filled in the blue form?
The blue form? No.
Then how do you think you're going to get permit A38?
She's at lunch. But you could apply to window 35. Ask them down at the desk.
Yeah, the joke is it's the embodiment of bureaucratic hell, and it's the one and only time I've seen Asterix crack, and that's frickin' hilarious. It makes sense though, right? He may be clever, but his whole world revolves around the rules of nature, and there's nothing more unnatural than bureaucrats. How he solves the task is my favorite part, too.
Is this where I get permit number A39?
Don't you mean A38? No, for permit A38...
No. What I want is permit number A39 as stipulated in the new circular B65.
In the new circular B65? Wait here. Here, ever heard of circular B65? Circular B65? The one about permit A39. Not me. We shall have to find out from the head of filing systems of material not yet coordinated.
That's right. He uses their own system against them, throwing the whole place into chaos until the head honcho shows up and just simply gives them what they came for. I just love that. The fact that there's this short sketch of dry humor hidden in a movie full of slapstick and cartoony violence. It could easily be a Monty Python skit.
And who gave you permission to come into my office?
Anyway, at the end of the movie, all the Gauls meet up at Rome.
Oh, look at the prices.
Geriatrics.
The old man's name is Geriatrix. That's just fantastic. But then Caesar sends them all to the Colosseum to fight to the death. It all turns into a balls-to-the-wall brawl with children with slingshots, ladies with rolling pins, and... Why is everything suddenly a circus?
I ruined the circus making children laugh.
Is that where the idea of the circus came from? Of people getting murdered in the Roman Colosseum? And then the movie ends with the Gauls taking over Rome. Yeah, the Gauls conquer frickin' Rome. Okay, now things are getting out of hand. I mean, I guess I should be careful what I wish for, right? I craved madness, and this movie delivered. Like the task to solve a riddle, which turns into a fake detergent ad, and somehow transitions to the gods themselves hanging out on Mount Olympus.
You must admit it's true. Olympus really does wash whiter.
Or this task with the river full of crocodiles. What the actual hell is going on here? Let's just move on to one more movie. The fourth film in the series, obviously, titled Asterix vs. Caesar. Already I have questions. Like, what's up with the title? You can name any of these movies Asterix vs. Caesar. He's the main antagonist. So, unless this movie ends with Asterix and Caesar having some sort of one-on-one wrestling match, probably naked, because this is Rome we're talking about, the title leaves a lot to be desired. But I'm only nitpicking because, honestly, there's not much to say about this movie. Yeah, they once again seem to have toned down the butt-fuck insanity. Well, except maybe for the theme song.
Astérix est là. Ça va faire mal, ça va cogner la bagarre.
That's pretty ridiculous. In this one, Obelix has fallen in love with a lady Gaul named Panacea.
You remember Obelix?
Oh, of course. The one who fell into the magic potion when a baby.
Okay, they've mentioned Obelix falling into the potion as a baby in all three movies now, and yet they're not once going to explain why he carries around menhirs. It's kind of starting to bug me now. It's the most iconic image in the comics, and I don't think they once explain why he does it and what they're for. Is it always the same one? Is he helping build Stonehenge? Is that the joke? And what the hell is He-Man doing here all of a sudden? Seriously, who is this guy, and why does he and his girlfriend look so different from the other characters? The plot to this movie involves these two being captured by the Romans, and Asterix, Obelix, and Dogmatix this time rush off to save them. But you're telling me this dude couldn't fight off a couple of Roman soldiers? I mean, magic potion or not, he could at least put up a decent fight. Maybe that's why he looks so different from everyone else. These two look like Disney rejects that usurped the Asterix brand or something. Yeah, I don't think they're real Gauls. By Jupiter. I may be onto something with the Disney comparison, actually, as evidenced with the completely serious tone the movie decides to take. It's more of an action drama than a comedy. Sure, there's jokes and cartoony bits here and there, but They seem to take a back seat to this bland love story. They just look so ridiculous. It takes me completely out of the movie whenever they're on screen. Even when it's just Asterix, Obelix, and Dogmatics, the movie makes passes at suspense and gripping action. Well, at least we can rely on our heroes to be as fun-loving and charming as ever.
Now listen, Cookie. Anytime we don't like the grub we get to eat, we'll come back and see you.
Et tu, Asterix? Yeah, seriously, Asterix and Obelix are kind of bullies in this movie. There's no pretense to the pummelings anymore. It's just they need something out of someone, so they begin pounding. And guess where the climax of the movie takes place? That's right, we're back in the damn circus again.
Caesar, be kind. Won't you release these two courageous warriors?
Wait. Hold on. Asterix has been punching his way through this entire movie, and now he's going to negotiate peace with Caesar?
This guy, is he our friend?
No, he's not, Obelix.
I don't get it. I mean, the Gaul, they were all our enemies, but well, in Africa, we're all friends.
Yeah, I'm with Obelix. This movie makes no sense. As a reward for saving the day, Asterix gets a kiss from Panacea, which of course gets him all hot and bothered. The movie concludes on this weird note where everyone is happy and celebrating while Asterix mopes all by himself in a tree. Ah yes, it's, as the French would say, plaisir d'amour ne dure qu'un moment, chagrin d'amour dure toute la vie. Or something like that, I don't know. It's all Greek to me.
This jackass should get the laurel wreath for stupidity.
And that is the first 4 animated Asterix movies. I'm gonna stop there now because honestly I'm getting tonal whiplash from trying to marathon these things. For a series that falls into the standard cartoon tropes of the same villain trying and failing to thwart his clever nemesis, the main character having a secret weapon that he busts out in a pinch, there being decades of adventures with no tangible changes occurring in the world or its characters' day-to-day lives, they sure do leave you guessing what you're gonna get each subsequent installment. One movie will have slow, plodding beats of nothingness. Another will take every opportunity to chew on the fourth wall. Another will make you question your sanity, and yet another will make you wonder if you accidentally put in some shitty Disney bootleg. It is remarkable how disparate and, well, foreign each of these movies are from one another. Each came from the same creator, each inspired by the same comic series, and yet each one also in a dimension of its own, if you will. And it just keeps going. There's Asterix in Britain, Operation Get a Fix, Asterix Conquers America, Asterix and the Vikings, Asterix the Mansion of the Gods, Asterix the Secret of the Magic Potion, Asterix goes to the opera, Asterix does his taxes. It is a roller coaster, and one you can only truly experience once, so better to leave the rest of the twists and turns up for you guys to discover on your own if you're anything like me and didn't grow up with the series properly. And who knows, maybe you'll find a new Christmas classic out of all of it. What are they smoking in France?